Why does it feel like nothing you try in sales actually works? You change your message, your targeting, test new channels, and still the results don't move in a consistent way. Some days you get replies, but most days you don't. And over time, it starts to feel like outbound is just unpredictable. But what if the real problem isn't that nothing works? It's that you don't actually know what's working. Hello everyone, my name is Lucas and welcome to NBIS.io's YouTube channel. If you're running sales as a founder, you're probably not lacking effort. Emails are being sent, conversations are happening, and different ideas are constantly being tested in the hope that something finally clicks. The real problem is that all of this activity rarely translates into clear insight. You might get a reply and assume the message worked, or see silence and assume it didn't. But those conclusions are often based on incomplete signals. Sometimes, a great message fails because it reached the wrong people. Sometimes, a weak message works because the timing was perfect. But without a way to separate those variables, every result becomes misleading. So instead of learning, you start adjusting things at random. A new subject line here, a different audience there, maybe even a new tool. All in the hope that one change will unlock consistency. And you know what's better than having hope? Is having the certainty that you like this video. Subscribe to the channel and ring that bell. Because once you recognize this pattern, the next questions becomes unavoidable. Why does all this effort fail to produce clarity? The invisible bottleneck is not a lack of leads or tools. It's the absence of a system that produces reliable feedback. Right now, your sales process likely looks active on the surface. You send messages, you get some responses, and you try to interpret what happened. But the signals you're using are incomplete, inconsistent, and often misleading. This is where false conclusions start to stack up. You think a message didn't work, so you abandon it, even though it might have been sent to the wrong segment. You think a certain angle is strong because it got a reply, but that reply came from an outlier rather than your ideal customer. Over time, these small misinterpretations compound. You keep changing things, but not based on clear patterns, which creates the feeling that nothing is predictable. Again, the issue is not effort. It's that your process doesn't generate learning. And when your system doesn't tell you what's actually working, every decision becomes a guess. So the real question is not how to send more emails, but how to build a process that produces signals you can actually trust. A sale process starts working the moment it begins producing clarity. That means knowing who is responding, which messages resonate with that specific audience, and how different channels contribute to real conversions. When those signals are consistent, improvement becomes natural because you're no longer guessing, you are refining. The challenge is that creating this kind of feedback loop manually is extremely difficult when you're also running the rest of your business. Managing outreach across channels, tracking performance, and trying to interpret results quickly turns into fragmented data, and that's hard to trust. Now let's use a tool to change this dynamic. When using NBIS, you can see it gives you a structured system where execution is consistent across email, LinkedIn, and AI-driven calls. And where the data coming back is organized in a way that actually reveals patterns. So instead of wondering whether something worked, you start seeing why it worked. And more importantly, whether it can be repeated. That's how you can say you transform all that energy you use to activities to clarity. And once that clarity exists, outbound stops feeling random and finally starts becoming a process you can actually control and use to grow. Again, the real bottleneck in your sales process is not what you're doing right now. It's what your process is failing to show you. In the name of the different perspective you have now on why outbound can feel so inconsistent, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell. This way, you won't miss future breakdowns on building predictable sales systems. And if you want to see what it looks like to run outbound with real visibility, you'll find NBIS waiting for you in the description below. Thank you so much for watching so far, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.